All right, so it's another episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder. I am a comedian, he said, with no credits. But that's what I've been told is, listen, you have to say to the universe, you're a comedian. And when you do that, when you proclaim to the universe that you are a comedian, the universe will conspire in your favor. And so I have said, now, I am a comedian, and the universe is conspiring in my favor by continuing to give me opportunities to maintain my depression. So I think we're on the right path here. And I've been struggling because I feel like I need to come up with content. I need to make content. That's what I tell everybody else when I'm giving them advice. That's what I'm seeing works. And I don't really feel like I've ever come up with content that seems to really resonate. So I was talking with another comedian yesterday, and he said, well, you're into Star Trek. You know a lot about Star Trek. Be the Star Trek guy. And my first reaction to that is, but there's so much more to me. I'm an open book. I'm a book full of depth. There's depth to me. There's so much depth. I'm a multifaceted onion. And then I had to step back and think about the advice I give other people, which is pick one thing, focus on the one thing, and see what happens. And the worst case scenario is it doesn't work and you do something else. So just out of the sake of argument, I'm going to do. For the next few podcasts, I'm going to go episode by episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation. I'm just going to start there, which I was doing a little bit on TikTok. I was doing little, 3-minute TikTok videos, but now I'm going to expand that. The TikTok videos seem to be as well received as any other TikTok videos I did, so it didn't really seem to make a splash. But perhaps in the world of podcasting, something different will emerge. Perhaps this is the podcast that the world has been... I can't even finish that sentence with a straight face. But here we go. We're going to give it a try. How am I doing? Thanks for asking how I'm doing. I'm beyond depressed. I've eaten so much sugar today. And what I've realized I do is I eat the sugar to drown out the depression. Because it's hard to be depressed when you're running to the toilet. When there's that much panic, when it's a do or die situation, it's hard to be depressed. It springs me into action, and I'm really going for it here. So, Encounter at Farpoint. Let's start there. That is the first episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation, season 1, episode 1. And the premise is that the all-new Starship Enterprise, NCC 1701D, turns out there was a B and a C. We don't know what happened to them yet. The Enterprise D, commanded by Captain Jean-Luc Picard, who is French but has a British accent, which everyone has talked about. And Patrick Stewart finally said, well, what's so crazy about somebody who speaks English with a British accent but can also speak perfect French? Which kind of put that whole thing to bed when he's just very good at two languages. I get most of us are not. We know our language, and then every other language we learn, we have a little bit of an accent. But maybe he's just better than you. That's what I feel like Patrick Stewart saying. Maybe he's just better than most people. And that's a fair point. He is. He's Captain Picard. So if you've never seen the show before, how do I explain it? Well, it's the next generation from the original series, although technically I think a generation is only, 10 or 20 years. So it's really 4 generations after Kirk. But that's okay. Who's counting? It's not like this is a science-based show. Oh, slam, burn. So the Enterprise is just launched, and Captain Picard is taking the ship. Their first mission is to examine the Farpoint station and make sure it's okay. They've built this brand new starship, the most powerful, advanced starship that humanity has ever built. And the first mission they send them on is check out the place. Take a look around, see what you think. You know, do you see any roaches? It's an inspection. Now, on the way, they encounter Q, an omnipotent being who wants to put humanity on trial, because he's saying that humanity is not advanced enough to be exploring the stars, that they're too primitive and barbaric, and that the more they expand out into the universe, the more trouble they will cause. Now, what I find fascinating about how this show came about is Gene Roddenberry tells the writing staff, hey, nobody on the ship should have a conflict with each other, because by the 24th century, there's no such thing as conflict. There should be no conflict amongst the crew, which is cool. It's a cool thought. It's a lovely dream. The writers hated it because if there's no conflict, how do you make a story? But, and I don't know how this happened, but Captain Picard, especially in these first few episodes, seems like he's annoyed with everyone. Everyone. He can't stand anyone around him. Severely. Why am I surrounded with these people? I hate people. I feel like his captain's log, Stardate 265, Mark 428. I hate people so much. I hate them. Why? They gave me the ship with 1,000 people on, 1,000 of these morons on it. I asked for my own ship, just me, flying around, reading. I don't need these people. I don't need this. These people and their neuroses. And that's what I love about that guy. He hates everyone. Everything is annoying to this person. Especially children. He hates children. All he wants to do is explore space, and he just doesn't want anyone to bother with him. He wants to explore space, and every episode, it doesn't even feel like with every episode he's exploring space. Every episode, especially in the early season, is something gets in the way of him exploring space. Like the ship gets hijacked. I'm trying to explore space here. What are these binars doing? But I'm fast forwarding to a episode in the future. Let's stick with the Farpoint station. Encounter at Farpoint. So Q puts them on trial, and there's a trial scene which I'm beginning to think is standard for any science fiction show. There always needs to be a trial scene, because the longer the trial, the smaller the special effects budget needs to be. The trial scene is perfect. It communicates the plot, and we don't need to see big, expensive spaceships. We can stand there. There can be a crowd. It's great. So Q says to Picard, "All right, I'm going to give you a test. You're about to find out when you visit this Farpoint station. I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you." And Picard says, "Oh, okay, that's fine. You can test us all you want, I guess." And what I just described, I think it was the first 40 minutes of the show, maybe longer. Because when they were encountering Q, I forgot to mention this, but this Enterprise NCC 1701D, it can separate the saucer section. The saucer section can separate from the rest of the ship, because if they come across an adversary, they separate the saucer section. That's where all the kids are. And then the drive section, the back of the ship, that's what goes and fights. And the process of separating the saucer seems to take 5 minutes. And I feel like any standard alien bad guy would in those 5 minutes, shoot at it as it was separating, which would probably blow up both ships. It would be kind of like, I don't know, I mean, somebody's running to attack you and your family, and so you hit the button on the elevator, and the elevator's on floor 100 and you're on floor 1. And at that point, I think that's most sane people would just take the stairs or just run. No. We're gonna wait this out. We're going to complete the saucer separation, no matter what. That with this ship, do you know how much this ship cost? Well, there's no money in the 24th century, but you know how hard it was to build this ship. You know how hard it was to build a ship that could separate the saucer section. We're going to use this saucer section. The other thing I noticed is that after a while in The Next Generation and in all the other Star Treks, they stopped separating the saucer section because it took too much time. It was too time consuming. So that means I think what that means is that by the time you get to Deep Space Nine and the Dominion War is happening and you see all the fleets of Galaxy-class starships, which are ships that are like the Enterprise, it is Galaxy-class. You see fleets of these things in wars with the saucer section, and I'm like, are they teaching kindergarten while this is happening? Is that what's going on some of these ships? We're entering a war, but the children, make sure you study. Excuse me, Mrs. Johnson. As fascinating as the history of the butterfly is, I'm looking out the window right now and I'm seeing multiple torpedoes headed our way, and the ship is breaking up all around it. Don't look out the window. Okay? Focus on the task at hand. We are studying the anatomy of a butterfly. Pay no attention to the people who might be your parents who are flying out holes in the ship as we speak. Keep studying. Yes, Cindy, I know we probably should have put the school deeper in the ship, but the kindergartners wanted to see the view, okay? It's unhealthy to not have a window in a classroom. They've done studies. Back to Encounter on Farpoint. So they proceed to the Farpoint station, and at the Farpoint station, by the way, Beverly Crusher and Wesley Crusher and Commander Riker are all there. I can't remember if LaForge is there with them, but part of the crew is there, hanging out. They got there early. They went there ahead of the ship. I'm not sure why. I think that the idea was they were picking up crew at the Farpoint station. Now, it's called the Farpoint station, presumably because it's at a point that is far from the Federation. So I guess they shipped part of the crew out there first, or part of the crew happened to be out there already. I don't know. Or Picard said, okay, these are probably the most annoying people. What's the longest we can go without having them on board? Get them to go to Farpoint first. Let me enjoy these few days without these people in peace. They get to the Farpoint station. Commander Riker checks in. He says, "Hey, I'm the new commander. I'm Commander Riker. I'm Riker. I'm the meat. I'm the hot piece of what. I'm the hot sexy guy." And Picard says, blah, 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 your first mission is to manually dock the saucer section with the battle bridge. So we have to wait another 5 minutes while the two separate pieces of the ship come together again. Really, the first episode of Star Trek is watching a ship split apart and then come back together again. And those might be the fastest sequences in terms of speed and energy. And he completes the task, and everyone is smiling. That he said, let's do this manually. We'll do this manually. I don't even know what that means. It still seemed pretty automatic, even though he said manually. And he's not even pushing buttons. He said, all right, go to manual. So he didn't even do it manually. He told someone else to do it manually. And they were, all right, well, he he succeeded in telling someone to do something, and that person did it. But we're congratulating him because he said do it. And it takes a commander of Riker's caliber to say, hey, do this. Not a lot of commanders would have said, hey, do this. Some of them would have said, maybe I'll do it. Or maybe we shouldn't do this. But he said, no, do it. So now I guess the term for it is plot can start. And they talk to the head of the Farpoint station, and he's acting not at all like he's hiding something. Not at all like it may as well be, oh, nothing to see here. It's fine. Don't pay no attention to that. No. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Almost like it's a Marx Brothers bit. No. Everything's cool. Everything's fine. Everything's cool. What? So there was an apple there and where there wasn't one before. So what? What's your point? We have apples that can move fast. We have fast-moving apples here, okay? Yeah, just because you were thinking about an apple and then it appeared, don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. It's fine. The apple's all over the place. And Troy, who's the ship's counselor and empathic, is starting to feel all these emotions, but you can't quite tell from where and what. She's just very disturbed. And so they're walking around the Farpoint station, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. They're walking. Well, let's go to the underside of the. Let's go underneath. Meanwhile, this giant jellyfish alien appears out of nowhere in orbit around the Enterprise, near the Enterprise, and starts shooting at the Farpoint station. And there's concern. Everyone's concerned, and Q's kind of watching, going, "Yeah, well, blow it up. Come on, I dare it. You guys are primitive hostiles. Blow it up. That's what you do best. You blow things up. That's what you do best." And Captain Picard said, "Thanks for telling us what to do. I think you're just kind of telling us what we should really do by obviously telling us the thing that we know would make you upset. So thanks for that gigantic, obvious hint. Thank you. Appreciate it." And they conclude, basically, that the Farpoint station is actually a sister creature, or perhaps a wife creature, a mate to the giant hovering alien. So they give the Farpoint station some energy, and it turns into another giant hovering alien, and there are these two jellyfish, and they fly off. They touch their little leg things, and it's very romantic. And Troy says, "Oh, they feel gratitude and they feel love," and then they fly off. And Picard says to Q, "Well, we passed. Was that the test? We passed the test. Now we never want to see you again." And Q says, "You're going to need me about once a year. You need a Q episode once a year, just to bring some levity. Trust me. You guys are very, very serious these first few years. You need. I'll be around once a year. It'll be good. Trust me. It'll be good." And he proceeds to disappear, and everyone's very excited. They're very excited. They almost died, but they're now like, "Yeah, we did this. It was great. This is why we're here." And no one on the crew said, "But we almost died. We almost died twice, maybe more than twice." Everyone was like, "No. This is why we signed up. We love this." They want. I think they all have a death wish. I really do think on that ship. They all have they all have a death wish. They keep saying, "Oh, we're explorers. We're explorers." I think here's how you explore. You go to a planet and you look down and you go, "Hey, is there anything out there that could kill us? Ooh, there's a lot that could kill us. Let's not explore this one. Let's wait. Let's feel this one out a little bit more. Let's get someone else. Send a probe down. Have the probe say hi. The probe can, communicate with the probe. Tell the probe to do a dance, sing something. See how they treat the probe. And meanwhile, we'll go over to this other planet that just has plants on it, and we'll explore that. That's what we'll do. That feels better." Of course, the problem with that is no one would want to watch a show like that. Unless you made it funny, in which case now we're talking Star Trek Lower Decks. But there you go, Encounter at Farpoint. Humanity is put on trial by Q, and the big twist, the Farpoint station is a creature that the people that on the planet found and forced it to turn into a space station. we're gonna turn you into a space station. They basically, you know what they did? I'll tell you exactly what they did. They found an advanced alien, a giant advanced alien, and they told it to transform into a mall where they could sell things. There's a scene where Dr. Crusher is buying fabric. They converted an alien into a mall. The thing may as well have crashed in Arvada, Colorado, because they told the alien to turn it into suburbs. That's what they gentrified. They used the alien to gentrify their city. It is gentrification. What's the theme of Encounter at Farpoint? What's the point? Well, I think ultimately that in the idea that this is painting a picture of humanity as having evolved, and that we evolve beyond using violence. We solve our problems through compassion and logic and love, as opposed to punching people. And it's very, and the more we do that, the better things will get, until we run into a situation where we try to approach someone with love and compassion, and they go, "Oh, thanks for not shooting at me. I'll shoot first." And then we're done. That person's done, and maybe the next person will figure something out. I don't mean to put a damper on it. I mean, I agree with the philosophy of Star Trek. In theory, I don't know if I could execute it in fact. I would just try to avoid the situation altogether. But perhaps that is why I am here alone recording this podcast, single and 40, and other people who are out there are living. Maybe there's a bit of a balance that has to be struck. Hey, maybe that's the lesson for me right there. All right, this is 20 minutes. I mean, I guess I could go on for an hour. I could go on for an hour. That's what's almost sad about this, but this is good enough for today.